What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kasey, and I'm back again with another video. And this is like a work in progress video of how God changed my relationship with money. And so I am still in the process of like changing this relationship dynamic. So this is like a in the moment type of like lesson that I'm learning. So to give some backstory, I have always been like, or not always, but for most of my life, I've always been very like financially independent. Meaning like at 15, I got a job and at TJ Maxx, and not because like my parents like forced me to get a job, but it was just something that I wanted to do. So I worked at TJ Maxx throughout all of high school, after school, and then in college on the summers, I would come home if I wasn't like doing something at Troy, and I would always work at the same TJ Maxx. So I think overall I worked there for like 5 years on and off, just because of like with school, and I was always part-time. And so I had always like had money like coming in, and then when I went to college, I was a RA, and so then I would like make money as a RA. And then after college, I went straight into like being a news reporter, which like didn't pay great, but it was just like the fact that I had money coming in, you know what I mean? And so if like you talk to my dad about like anything, if you were to ask him anything about me, it would be the fact that like Kasey always has money, or like Kasey has a wad of cash that nobody knows about, you know. And so that's his like idea of like who I am, which is, you know, how I have been. And so, you know, it has always given me great joy to be like really independent. But I feel like in my walk with God, it has led me to be less dependent on Him financially, because I was like, okay, like I know how to make money, I know how to budget, and I know how to like survive on my own. But I feel like in this season, like going to New York and then moving to Kentucky and then like changing career paths often, um, has allowed me to rely on God in another way that I didn't think about. So I just want to just come on here and talk about how God is changing my relationship with money, because I feel like I have been one to say that I love money, I love success. And in my head, I was like, okay, but I don't put that over God. But maybe in my heart, I let that seep in a little bit too much, because I made it a part of my affirmations a little bit too much. And that's a whole nother side note and tangent about like the downside of affirmations, is because it really can allow you to start idolizing things that you know you shouldn't. So, you know, I would just be very careful of the things that you like speak and say over yourself, because like you may think like there's nothing wrong with being successful and there's nothing wrong with having money, which there isn't. The problem comes in of where you hold that value in your heart. Um, and so I have a couple of verses that are not really money related that I want to bring to you, or some of them are and some of them aren't. But here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter 16:14. This is in the New Living Translation. It reads, "And do everything with love." And I feel like for a lot of my careers, like, yes, and this is also why I decided to go back into journalism, because journalism does not always pay well, okay? But it is what I love to do. I love talking to people, I love interviewing people, I love learning about how our world works, and I love advocating for people in non-conventional ways. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but that's what I am genuinely passionate about doing. um, and so, you know, when you find your God-given purpose, which I feel like mine is being a presenter, being a broadcaster, being in front of camera, and being like a personality of sorts, is my God-given purpose. But when you do things out of God-given order or for non-God-given reasons, then it changes your talent. It doesn't change your talent, it changes how what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't change your talent, but it can change your character and your motives. And so, you know, I do know that I have this gift of gab, and I understand that. And my own selfish love for money made me want to chase more money, and whatever that looked like. That's not necessarily in a career field, but there are a lot of other businesses that I've done that maybe you guys are not aware of, and a lot of like ventures that I've tried that have not always been successful. And so because I did those things to chase a bag instead of chasing love, and instead of chasing passion or purpose, then that has really changed my outlook on where I see money in my life. And I do believe that money flows to you and should flow to you. And I don't believe that God put Christians or anybody on this earth to be broke. I don't think that. Like, I think that Christians we won't even go there. Okay. So, yeah, so when you do everything with love, you're in God's purpose, and you're able to, allow money to flow to you the way you need to. Because I will say that even though, like, going into news for the second time has me taking a pay cut, I am living a more sustainable life today than I did, like, owning a house in Nashville, living in this house, having an Airbnb, and doing all these things, because like I am where God wants me to be. And I may not have the biggest bag right this moment, but I know that I am in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have money to put food in my stomach and clothes on my back and a roof over my head. So okay, so obviously I pinned this June 26, 2023. And it's Hebrews 13:5 in the New Living Translation. And it says, "Do not love money. Be satisfied with what you have. For God has said, I will never fail you and I will never abandon you." Amen. I feel like when we relinquish lots of power that money has over our life, not like conscious and subconsciously, it allows you to see the fruit of the Spirit in a different way to provide for you. Because there have been times where, like, okay, maybe like when I was in grad school, I was like, I really don't know how my bills are getting paid this month, and somehow magically, like, they're paid. But it only came when I stopped worrying about them. When I was worrying about how my bills were getting paid, then there was no end in sight. But the moment I turned it over to God is when, like, it was paid. And it's like, I'm doing this Bible plan right now with looking at the life of Elijah. And it's like, how many times does God have to show you that he is good and that he will sustain you and that he has all power for you to continue to believe that in your next dark moment? That was always my struggle. Like, I'm like, God, I know you have done it before, but will you do it again? And he's like, but have I shown you that I'm not going to do it again? And I'm like, no, but human flesh me wants to, like, be coddled. And that's not how growing works. You don't grow in a certain thing by being coddled. You only grow by allowing things to kind of freak you out and scare you. You only start when you first start walking. You're scared to take those first steps. You can see it, the excitement and the nervousness all in this baby's mind, because like they're wobbling and they look unsure and they don't know if this step will lead to them falling down, but they're excited to take it because you're excited for them to take it. Have you ever take a step back and looked at a parent's joy when they see their kid is about to take the first step? And I don't even like kids for real, but this is how you know. That is literally like how God looks at me when I'm about to take my next step towards him on my walking journey. He's excited to see me take this step and grow up. He wants to see me grow up in him and in his way. And so he is just as excited to see that in me. So when I'm like, okay, I'm about to let this thing go and I'm about to give it to you, God, he's like, thank you. He's so excited to see this. He's like, I've just been waiting on you to give this thing to me for me to bless you in other areas. And so that's how I feel when it comes to money and God, for me. And that's how God has changed my relationship and how I view God, because I was like, God has blessed me with this job to sustain myself, and God has given me this resource to make money, and God has given me this talent to do this, and whoop de whoop de whoop. But God is like, hold on, like, yes, I did give you all those things, but you're looking past me as where the miracle can come from as well. Like, yes, I gave you this job, but I am the source, not the resource. So in Proverbs 19:21, in the New Living Translation, of course, it reads, you can make plans and you can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. And that's how I feel like my life is. Like, I could make so many plans to make so much money, but I will be out of the will of God if I stay doing that. And here's the thing, like, if you go out and make money on your own without God's help and out of God's plan and will for your life, then you are responsible for sustaining that monetarily on your own. So if you think that you're a good management system now, and I thought that I was good, like, I'm like, I know how to plan my money. I know who I need to talk to about my taxes. I know, like, all of this stuff, okay, like, about money. And my parents prepared me very well to be financially stable and financially educated. But when you make money out of God's will, you are responsible for doing that. And I don't know how many of you have ever had to sustain anything on your own without God's help, but that is the most exhausting thing on the planet. I mean, it is so relentlessly exhausting. And only if you are trying to be in the will of God, and just know that God is always chasing after that one, that you will know that, okay, this is not how this is supposed to be. I should not be struggling this much. I just know that God does not put me on this planet to worry and stress over stuff that he has already promised to me in his word. And here I am stressing. Let me get back into this will of God and do what I need to do and let him bless my life the way he sees fit, because he sees things far past the immediate gratification that I see today. So when I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know if this is just for me to record. I don't know. But when you allow for God to show you who he is and the source that he can be in your life, it will change your view on money. It's far better than any financial education, any influencer education can make in your life. Just believe in God. Like, and when I say a mustard seed, I would go to bed every night and worry all day long. And then at night, I'm like, God, I want to sleep. I want to go to sleep. You promised me sound sleep. I'm about to go to sleep. And hey, whatever you got coming for me, I'm rocking with you, Jesus. I'm rocking with you, Lord. I'm going to put this in your hands right now, so I don't even have to dream about it, think about it, because it can keep you up all night. So I would just say to be mindful of your relationship with money, because it can be an idol. It can definitely be an unknown idol, because it was for me in my life for a long time. And it took me breaking down my pride, asking for help from certain people that I trusted, not just financially, especially while I was in college and making the transition, but, just really breaking my pride down before myself, because it's like before I could even focus on how my pride is towards somebody else, like I have to humble myself and get outside of my own self to open my mouth to trust the people that God has placed in my life to ask for help. And it was at that moment that I was like, Kasey, you've probably made money more of an idol than you think, or your image more of an idol than you think. Because it's like, I'm not gonna cap you out. Like, I love my life. Like, I love where I live. I love the car I drive. I love the clothes I wear. I like the makeup I put on. I love my life. I love my things. I love where I'm at. But at the same time, all of this stuff does not make me who I am. And that's for sure. And so I'm like, okay, I have to come out of my own way of this image that I have of myself towards other people who don't, I mean, not that they don't matter, but no one matters more to me than God himself. And so if that's what it takes to break down my image towards other people, then that's what it's going to have to be. So that's my whole tangent about I don't even know if any of this made sense. I really don't know if this video was for you or for me. I'm not sure. But if you allow God to take over your finances in a way that you have never allowed him to, he will do that for you. And I believe that for you, just like I believe that for me. So I hope you have a great day. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share it if you care. But please, if this video was for you, hey, I mean, God, just use the video. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.